Hi guys, welcome back. Today's a new little feature called What's on the Dev Pad. I've been promising this for some weeks, and this is just like going to be a little insight into stuff I'm working on, really. All the games that are on my to-do list. So the first one we're looking at is Quasimodo's Christmas Caper, which has been back on the actual dev pad for a few weeks now when I can get to it. It's been difficult, really. It really has. I wish I'd had a lot more time to do stuff, but work life and other commitments and stuff, so it's been really, really difficult to get stuff I wanted to do in into release 4, which was hoping would be ready for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Will I still get everything in by then? I don't know. It's really tight because now we're on Christmas Eve, so to speak. It's Saturday morning, so as I record this, so I don't know whether everything I want to do will be in, and also will I be happy enough to release it. It'll be some point over Christmas if I don't release it Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. But so there's been lots I've been doing with this game since I've last looked at the code, probably back early at the beginning of the year, since release 3. It was probably sometime in January, and then I parked it after release 3 came out, and then I switched onto Tiki. But Tiki's obviously been on a break since like October time, and I've been back to Christmas Caper. What can be improved? Well, quite a lot can be improved, obviously, on any game. I'm a strong believer in that. Any game that you write, practically anything or everything can be probably improved in some fashion, whether it's just code refinements, whether it's graphics, whether it's sound, music. You can always tweak something. A game is never completely finished. I mean, people who release games and say, "Oh yeah, that's completely and utterly finished." I'm sure they could go back to it and just do a little tweak, do a little something, and say, "Actually, you know what? I can actually improve on this." Now, obviously, coming back to the 80s, obviously, games came out in all sorts of fashion with bugs everywhere and what have you. And there are bugs in Christmas Caper. And if I was to rewrite it from scratch, probably a lot of those would be completely eliminated, I would think. Obviously, you have the possibility of introducing more bugs when you do a rewrite, but I know the weaknesses in this game because it's my first one. And obviously, they were taken out, eliminated, improved in Tiki, which is going to be the second game, and then Hunchback, the third one. But yeah, quite a few things I've been playing around with, changing. Quite a bit is visual. The biggest thing I did to start with was the title screen. Because the bitmap logo, if we just take a look at the old release, let's have a look, see if we can see on the screen here, the logo here. This is a bitmap on this version of the game, and then what you do basically, we got split up here at the just underneath the clouds. We kick in the bitmap mode, multicolor bitmap mode, and then we switch it off, and then we bring back in the character set, which I think this is all just a multicolored character set, which is fine, and it worked. And we have obviously a sprite overlay, a little star, and Quasi at the bottom there, whatever. But yeah, this takes up obviously quite a bit of memory, being a multicolor bitmap, and even shrinking it down to, I think it was something like about was it 8 to 10 characters high, you would say, something like that. I can't remember exactly how many, but it was it still takes up a fair bit of memory. So I started to think about converting that into a multicolor character set instead, and that's what I did in the end. I've converted this now into a character set, and I've changed the background colour a bit, and I've changed the way the titles were being displayed as well. I think previously, obviously, once you pressed like say up for options, the options would appear instead in place of the bitmap. The bitmap would switch off, and then the options would appear. Now that's again changed again. So I think what I do now is I keep the new logo just on screen all the time, which is something I wanted really. So things have changed quite a bit. Now this title screen, I will admit, the whole new title screen when you see it in a second. Yeah, it took a lot longer than what I wanted to take on the game. It probably cost me, I don't know. There was a few bugs in getting the text display routines and then interacting with the option selecting and all that lot. I was chasing around a bug or two for a few days, and obviously this screen is just in VicBank 1 on the original with the logo up in VicBank 3, but on the new latest release, it's the screen is essentially in VicBank 3, so it's up underneath the kernel out of the way, and yeah, so it just made for interesting, because as soon as you do that, then you have issues when you're in the borders, because you have a junk byte, but you can't, you have to change it to eliminate all the black stripes. So, and there is still a little bug I'm chasing around at the moment. I'm just finishing because the game isn't ready yet. There's still quite a few things I need to change. But yeah, so let's I tell you what, let's go from this version, which obviously I don't know, we'll play this a little bit off. This is off my old channel, so see it, and you probably not heard that music for a few months for those of you from it. Yeah, so you see how the options are up on the top there. We've got widescreen, we've got this WIMP mode as well. Oh, buffering, there we go. There you go, so that's the widescreen option being kicked in and stuff. Yeah, so, and then obviously the game starts. Yeah, so why does that look such low resolution? It probably is it? Quality 480, give over. Put that in it. Super high quality, that's disgusting. YouTube messing around with people's settings. Okay, anyway, so yeah, so you get the idea. Obviously Quasimodo, they're jumping in, and you can see that now this version, this was off the pre-release level. I didn't do any videos based on the actual released versions. This was the final pre-release, so there's no background music or anything on this version. Yeah, so we can see the layout of it. I think there's 25 snowballs to clear, and I think 10 or 12 stars. I don't know how many stars we got there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 10 stars. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, so all pleasant, all good. Quite attached to this first level because it was the first one I ever did, and I was very I was like sentimental about it in terms of should I actually change anything on this level really, but I had to push sentiment aside when doing this, because I thought if I'm releasing a release 4, everybody will play through this game now, so everybody knows what to expect. So instead, what I've done is I've tweaked a few of the levels. Not every single level, but some levels will have had something changed, either cosmetic or just layout of platforms and bits like that. So let's go, if we can, to the game. There we go, let's have a look. And let's just take pause off and let's see what we've got here. Okay, so you'll notice obviously the new logo, the background colours changed, and the way the titles appear now, they just fade in a little bit different. I can probably just take down the music so you can probably hear me talk a bit. So Yeah, and obviously, yeah, there's another change, the high score change. So what we've got there instead now is we're going to have a high score for each of the difficulty levels instead. You can't enter your name. I've not done any of that because that's just a silly amount of code for entering your name. So, not in this. Christmas Caper 2 might have something like that, but I wasn't really bothered with Christmas Caper 1. So, yeah, so we can see got a nice new multicolour character set logo, which means I can put the snow effect as well. So the snow is now falling across all behind here and what have you, and in between little gaps where it can fall. Yeah, and obviously Quasies are blinking away, ready for you to start, or press. Well, it was press up for options. It says now press space for options, because that's another little change I've made as well. So, and this is tied into a new option. Previously we had a wimp mode, which was unlocked when you got to a certain level, which was essentially an infinite lives, but I've ditched the infinite lives now. It's not something what I'm going to tweak the number of lives that you have as well per difficulty level. So I'm thinking on the hardest level you might get more lives, and on the easiest you'll get less. Now that seems in reverse to what convention is normally, but I figured if enemies respawn or unfreeze quicker, and you got Boris chasing around the screen faster, and the time limit's less, then you probably want a few more lives just to get through it, because everything's more difficult. So that's my train of thought on that one. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe it's in reverse to what everyone else would do, because you put the hardest, least lives. You want a challenge, you want to make it tough. But the number of lives, again, it's always such a, I mean, how many lives is a decent number of lives to get through a game? 3, 4, 5, 6. It's I mean, typically 3 was the norm, wasn't it, back in the 80s and stuff in the arcade games? But I don't know. It's all depends on the game, really. I mean, Star Wars, you had about 8 or 9 shields before it was game over, weren't it? So, game like that. And then, I don't know, some other games had probably about 5 lives or as a standard, but we'll see anyway. So, let's have a look now. So if we now space for options, what will happen is, yeah, so the options are presented a little bit differently now. I can't be bothered with the word options. You know it's options because it's on thing. So select the difficulty, it's normal, lemon squeezy, widescreen. There you go. So it's the same old widescreen, and we've got a new option as well. We've got 2-button fire. Now, people were commenting they'd really like to have fire to jump, but the only way I could probably think of doing that was put it on a second fire button. So that is now an option for the game. If you've got a 2-button control or something, if you've got a little pad with an extra button or something like that, you should be able to do it. Now, it's very much in test. It's because there are little quirks with the 64 and the keyboard wiring, how it goes into the CIAs and stuff like that. So, and you can actually have, I think, space on port 1, which activates fire. So it may be that it works like that. I don't know. So, I'm sure. But anyway, that's for people to test. It's very much in there as a test. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, then I'll go back and I'll put a fix out for it and do something else. I'm sure that's how a lot of people do it anyway, because it's just a way. There's several keys which act as like a space or act as another input on the 64 keyboard. The way it's all wired up, it's a bit of a weird thing, the 64's keyboard. But yeah, so that's in there. That's for people to test. So we come back out of there. Yeah, so there we go. That's just how the new options work. What else has changed? Well, obviously I've emphasised the space for options just by flashing on and off in a different colour as well. But the background music the title music will change slightly. I've got an extended version of it. I've not put it into this little this video here, but so that will be extended just a little bit. And again, the whole purpose of this release as well was to get a tape version ready. So there'll be a tape loader attached to this for anyone who wants to be nostalgic and have a tape version. That's fine, obviously, because I like tapes and all the loading bars and screens and stuff like that. But right, so let's see we start the game. Well, I'll just go through a little bit, and I'll probably just pause it and just point out what I've been changing. So here we go. Okay. So here we go. We've got pause mode. Okay, so you can probably see from this screen. A bit more colour has been injected into the actual game. So what I've done is I've put an extra split in at the top of the screen, and we've made the score a bit more colourful now. So we're using a different mode. So we switch out of multicolour mode, and then we switch back into it. Essentially, that just gives us these extra colours that we've got, like the light green and what have you. I was going to have more rainbow colours, but I would have had to move this this score down to the bottom, and that's what's going to happen with Christmas Caper 2. Christmas Caper 2, I'm going to have the HUD. It'll be down at the bottom of the screen, and then these will be surrounded on a little like a black background highlight sort of thing, and then all the extra, and there'll be proper like rainbow colours using all the full 16 colours available to you. We've got on the 64, so that it will just be slightly different. So at the moment we chose the lemon squeezy mode, which is easy, which is now represented by this E in the top corner here. Previously people didn't know, there was just an L up there, but it was different coloured. It was colour coded. So people would tell me, say, "Oh yeah, I finished the game. I went through it all on, and it didn't take me much time." I said, "Really?" Oh, yeah, I did it on the hardest difficulty. And I'd look up in the top corner and see a red L, and that says, a green L. And yeah, the green L represents the easy mode. I said, "No, you're not doing it on hard mode. You're doing it on easy mode." "Oh, you didn't know that?" I said, "Because of that." I said, "Oh." So that caught a few people out. They didn't seem to realise that. Look, that was a little subtle thing there I'd put in, but it now changes to be E and then M and then H in the top corner, so you know you're on the what difficulty level you're on. So obviously, looking at this first level thing, a few things have changed. Like I say, we've got this platform at the top's been extended a bit, and that means we've got this little connector here as well. So let's just make Quasimodo think about where to jump, and make you think about where to jump if you're playing a game. Obviously, layout of snowballs is slightly different in places. Again, because the whole purpose of changing it is to just to keep the game fresh. You know, that's the whole thing. Just to keep it fresh, to let people have something like a slightly different challenge when you're playing it this Christmas. And that's the whole purpose of these extra releases, these little updates and stuff and tweaks that I make to it. Because I'm obviously entirely thankful for everyone who's gone out and bought the game, out of the way to buy the game and download it. It's I mean, it's not that expensive a game, really. I mean, at the moment, given the exchange rate, I think you're talking about £2. I mean, really, I probably should up it, given the amount of work and effort I've put into it. But you know, it's just one of these things. I think the next game will probably be a little bit more because of the amount of effort and time I'm putting into things. But you know, it's there, and do the releases, extra releases, just as a thank you more than anything. So what else has been going on? I think the little fairy lights have undergone a tweak. I've got about 3 or 4 designs now for different fairy light bulb types, so they might change on each level. So you go to level 2, then it could change its style of it. The fairy light bulb, that's just another little thing I put in cosmetically. We've got a bit of snow hanging off the edge of platforms in places as well. So because because basically I had a load of characters now freed up because of the title screen change. So I could take 16, 18, 20 characters or something out of the character set, so that freed me up for doing extra little bits. There's other stuff gone in there as well, which you'll probably see in later levels, but yeah, so at the moment I've still been working on collision, just to try and see if I can tweak the collision in places. The whole thing about the collision though, and the way it works, it's not as straightforward a collision routine as what some people think, because Quasimodo, he's offset. He's not standing straight on top of the character. He's offset. He's embedded by about 4 pixels or something halfway into the character. So you offset all the collision hit points by that amount. And what looks like, you say, well, I'm stood on such a thing, character. Well, actually you're not. You're stood somewhere else. And then what happens is the collision hit point with the snowball will be out by so much, and then you've got to take that into account, and you've got to have different hit points, because the hit points ideally would just like, you would have a hit point under a certain position on the feet. Now if you divide the sprite down into like 3 strips of characters, you would have a hit point somewhere in one of those 3 strips. If his feet were close together, you could probably do it just within 2 characters. But because he's a full sprite width, it's not easy. There are other ways you can do the hardware collision, but when you're doing software collision, you've got to pick hit points, and each individual hit point, when you're analysing it, and then you're going off to say what character's underneath its hit point. It takes quite a bit of processor time. It is quite consuming in terms of process time. Now, I did think of another way of doing it, but at the time, or as time's run out, I've spent that much time on the other things about the title screen and stuff. It's not giving me much time to go with a collision for this release, but I think there is a little bit of a tweak in there, but and I hope to get a few more little bits done before I do release it. But yeah, it is what it is. It's just the mechanics of the game, that's all. So I mean, because of the hit point section, if you always go for clearing a snowball, if you always go for the bottom of his costume outfit, is probably where he would actually come into contact with that snowball, for the most part. Or if he's falling, his feet area, there's no point scanning for his head to clear a snowball, because his head's never really going to. Even if you were jumping up through a platform, there's no collision check with his head on a snowball, because I didn't want to do that, quite frankly. And it's when you have the spikes hanging down, or the spikes on the floor. If you're jumping up, there's no point scanning for a spike on the floor, and if you're falling down, there's no point scanning for a spike above his head. Like, so, you know, you switch things on and off. You don't always scan for absolutely everything, because it's just too much raster time, and you're running out of cycles by doing that. Obviously, hardware collision is slightly different. You could employ hardware collision, but a lot of people avoid it because it's not entirely accurate all the time, for what you want. So, yeah, so that's the way it is, as it is. What else has changed? Let's have a look. I think there's probably, you'll see these little frozen pieces of grass now, as well as just little embellishments. Again, extra characters available. I think there's a bit more snow in his huts. And what else? I think the stars. I've reduced the stars down per level. I think we're just have 9 per level now to clear. And also there will be a feature where is if you've cleared them all, then I think I was going to introduce like a little lockdown mode. So you shouldn't be able to, if you get hit by a snowball from the elves, because obviously they're nasty little people. So when you get hit by a snowball, normally you would lose a star. But if you've collected them all, then I don't think it's fair for you to keep losing stars. So what I'll do, I'll put it in lockdown mode, and there'll be a little padlock icon probably appear up at the top to indicate that. And so you won't lose any stars on that level. But as soon as you go to the next level and you get hit, if you were hit and you haven't collected all of them, then you can still, obviously, you can lose a gold star. The purpose of that, of the stars as well, was just to get to the bonus level. However, now there's going to be an additional thing at the very end of the game, as all this refactoring of code as well I've been doing in the background, means there's a change I want to make, but it's not going to be in this release because it's just not enough time. So release 5 will feature that change, and it will make sense, and that will lead into Christmas Caper 2. So so look out for that, but that's some time away. But whether I release 5 just as and when, and not save it for the following Christmas, I don't know. But I've yet to decide that. But if there is a big change coming to the end of the game, which I've always wanted, but I've just never had the time. I always seem to run out of time at Christmas. You always get busy doing stuff. You're doing the bloody decorations or something. It's I don't know. You know you got work in the way as well. You tidy up this. People coming round. It's like, everything just gets in the way towards Christmas. If I started in June, I think I'd have probably been okay. But I wasn't thinking about Christmas games in June. So, but yeah, no matter. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just restart the game a little bit. So what was the other thing I was doing? I was get some energy drink. That's good. Oh yeah, we'll have a red one. That's not bad. Yeah, okay. So we'll just a little guide through. Yeah, okay. So I mean, collision. I mean, it's once you get used to it. I mean, I've seen people breeze through this entire game in 15 minutes and do a YouTube video when it was first released, within the first day of release. So people who complain it's saying it's difficult, it's not that difficult. You know, it depends on how good a gamer you are, really. I mean, I'm trying to concentrate now on clearing these before my timer runs out. And the elves turn nasty. Oop, okay, here we go. There we go. Oh, he just turned nasty. Get off with his snowball. There you go. So, dum 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 dum. Okay, we'll just pause it again. Right, so yeah, level 2. Again, you'll notice just little graphical touches slightly. I put a stripy column in down at the bottom here on this one. Now, I had previously had spikes. This frustrated people a lot. They didn't know how to collect this gold star. And it's quite simple, obviously. If you know your collision detection points, you just walk in, and then jump up and grab it. It really caused a lot of frustration. I think one of my testers was frustrated by this. Matt, bless him. Hi Matt, how are you doing? Yeah, it was. I couldn't understand it, because when you're developing a game, you play it yourself that many times. You just think, yeah, it's all right, and then somebody comes along and plays it for the first time. Think, how the hell do you do this? But anyway, I replaced the spikes, because the spikes were just stopping you. You had to come up there at that point and then go over. But now I've put an entire stripy wall in now. So yeah, so that's like pretty much the most different change on this level. Besides, obviously, there's still, I think, is it 9 stars to collect? Yeah, so I've taken the stars down. I've decluttered a lot of the levels as well. I've gone for 25 snowballs on every single level now. I've actually freed up enough space in my level maps now. I could actually add more levels in if I wanted to, but I'm saving it for this change, which will make it into release 5. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to conserve the space. There's more space I can get back as well, because there's a lot of level plotting data level plotting data which doesn't need to be there on some levels. So I'm going to rip that out. That'll probably save me, I don't know how many bytes. But yeah, the Oh yeah, that's what I forgot. Yeah, the links between the lights there. That's one character less as well. So that's a character I've saved myself. But yeah, so what else has changed? I tweaked the timings at the end of release 3. I don't know if I've changed them since again for release 4. I can't recall now. It's been I don't know if I have changed them, maybe, but some of them might have to change because I've revised the levels. So you might just see a couple of extra units of time being added or removed. Because some of them, the levels now might be easier because of the changes rather than more involved, more of a challenge. Some might be more challenging. Really does depend. But yeah. Anyway, let's just go through this level if I can. You'll notice that always the first little bonus which drops down from the clouds is always an energy drink, typically. Freeze the elves, so that one there. Bang, straight away, got it. And people struggle with that, I don't know why, but no matter. And it took people sometimes when they're playing the game for the first time, it took people like 10 minutes just to notice the little footprints in the snow. I was like, so yeah. And some people like the little subtle background music, which I introduced in one of the early releases. And I wanted it low key. It just fills out the void in the actual the background, doesn't it? But you know, oh, see, we're already on the timer. That runs down quick. It really does. Whoa, there you go. Now Boris won't appear because I've already collected everything. So just a quick. Now you still see that little screen flash as well. I think that's just something hitting a bit too much raster time. Here we go into level 3. Now, so you'll notice a bit of changes again on this level. So this level, we have what I call the North Pole cherries on the end of these things. So these were previously just on the bonus level if you got there, but I decided to introduce them a little bit earlier on. So this level's slight revisions on this level again. So we've now got these. I've moved the spikes apart in different places. Probably decluttered a bit on the snowballs. I think they've got a stack one up there, but yeah, I think that's pretty much the most of a change. I think I call them North Pole cherries because you see the old Christmas cards, which have the traditional like cartoony style with the, you know, the supposed like the fake North Pole, which is this stripy little pole to represent the North Pole, and then the little ball on the top of it, this little red like globe or whatever. This is your North Pole, and there's probably one at the south, but you know, so that was the whole idea behind these little stripy little poles and stuff. And I thought I actually referred to that in my code, this little block, as a North Pole cherry because it looks like a glacé cherry, but yeah, so. You know, so tweaks like that basically have been introduced. Some of the later levels have been completely revised. I'm not going to show you them because that'll just spoil everything. But you've got an idea of some of the things that I've changed in it. What else is going on? Change. I mean, I actually thought of introducing different little things for different coloured stars, but I think I might hold back on those for Christmas Caper 2. I think there's a whole raft of stuff I can bring in, but yeah, it's that'll be up and coming. What else has been going on? So I think that's pretty much gives you an overview of the look of the game, how it's changed a little bit for this. I've still been hunting down a little raster glitch in widescreen mode on the in the game, so I think I might have got it. I don't know, but because there was a glitch appearing due to timings of things because of the extra IRQs I've put into place, and so it just threw it out with the timing slightly because obviously we've got another mode up here and then the sprite overlaid and it went, hey, nice little glitch in the corners, and I thought, oh great, that's all you want. Because people comment on it. Oh yes, people comment on, oh there's a little glitch up here at the top there. Oh, okay, I'll fix it. It's like it's only a glitch. It's not going to break anything. But yeah. So yeah, other things. Yeah, it's just I've tweaked probably some of the platform colours in places. So you will notice different platform colours. But aside from that, it's still Christmas Caper, but just with little tweaks for Release 4 as a thank you for those who went out and got it. And if you haven't bought it, then and you feel like you want a little Christmas game. I mean, in terms of Christmas games, it's probably one of the better looking Christmas games that have been released on 64. I mean, only in recent times has somebody else come out with a few others like Santa's Workout, which look okay, don't they? But I think in terms of its graphics, it's probably one of the best looking Christmas games out there. The sprite work and all that. But Zap, I think UK Zap were a bit unfair with the review on it. They, I don't think they played it or paid attention that much to it. I mean, one guy really liked it, which is fine. Paul, he really liked it, but the other guys, I don't think they gave it the attention it probably deserved. I think it's a bit unfair. I mean, it said sound effects were sparse. I mean, there's 22 sound effects in the game, for crying out loud. I mean, not even full price games back in the 80s had that. Some of them, it's like, and it says sparse sound effects. I thought, you're having a laugh. And they knock marks off the graphics for collision, which is rubbish because you take it off for playability, and the overall score you don't take it off graphics. Again, a bit unfair. So, but Zap Italia, they rated it about 6% higher. They got an earlier version, an earlier pre-release version. So they were a bit more generous. But yeah, again, it's understanding how the mechanics of the actual game worked, and once people did, then people liked it. So okay, it's not a perfect game. Not expecting it to get 98% or something stupid, but and what was it? Somebody else said, yeah, Periphractic. He said that if you want to get high presentation score, you've got to have a backstory, which I thought was a bit weird. I mean, does Pac-Man have a backstory? Really? Does Tetris have a backstory? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems to be getting better presentation scores than what I got, but oh well. It's I found that a bit weird. I'm pretty certain that they didn't go off backstories for presentation marks in past Zap reviews. I think they've changed that, or he's trying to justify it as that. I think in the past, I think presentation was on the case, it came in, and the artwork on the cover and the instructions on the inside of it, and the cassette and stuff like that. And the screenshots on the back maybe, but I don't believe for a second that it was down to a backstory. So again, minor whinge at that, but I think it was a bit unfair review. I think 70-odd%. I think it was probably a bit low on some of the marks that they gave it. So boo hiss to them, bar humbug. But yeah, there we go. Anyway, everybody likes different things, don't they? And maybe we're having a Grinch day. I don't know. But one guy liked it, which was good. See what happens when next game comes around. But I tend to actually I'm not really that bothered anymore. I don't think. I used to think about having a review was a nice. I mean, there's been some nice feedback on sites like Lemon 64 as well. A lot of people out on the. Like, there's a few people who don't like the game and just, I think they're jealous of it in some respects. They downvoted it straight away. They went to like the ratings and just put a 4 out of 10 without even downloading and buying the game. So, okay, if that's the way you want to play it, some people out there like that. They'd love to hate, but there we go. But yeah, I think as a Christmas game goes, it's, you know, it's I think it's up there as probably being one of the better ones. I mean, there's a lot of Christmas games. I mean, there's some like which are horizontal scrolling shooting games, aren't they? It looks like they come out with shoot 'em up construction set or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. And then I didn't want obviously all the Christmassy, normal Christmas themed music tunes that everybody else seems to put in, because they're all copyright. So I had to avoid that. So if I know some people commented and said, "Why don't you put a proper Christmas tune in there?" I said, "Well, it's copyright, isn't it, really? And if anyone comes asking for money, then because I've put that in or says, no, take that down, you've infringed copyright." And you've got to bear in mind, I think, would anyone really do it for a 64 game these days? Highly unlikely, but it's better to stay on the side of the right side of the old copyright law, I suppose. But yeah, so yeah, so that's obviously the game and the changes there. There's a few little changes as well to some of the collectibles. I mean, I think let's have a look see if I can get you a screenshot of the sprite editor up or something like that. There we go, sprite editor. So I think on the yeah, my sprite editor, let's have a look there. If we go to the old Christmas pudding, that's been tweaked a bit. So yeah, so it just looks a bit more pudding shit. I edit more of a, I mean, because you normally get the Christmas puddings when you get them out of they do have a flat base like the previous one, but I just thought I'd make it more around this one. So there's a few little tweaks to some of the little graphics in there, but obviously Boris is still there as nasty as ever, and the baubles, the bauble that you get there, that's for the bonus stage if you've never got to that. So I've still got to complete a reworking of the end of the game for this version because I broke it. So I say broke it, I've not really completely broke it. It's just that I've got to do some changes around the it's because of a title screen and whatever. It's the end credits have all changed, so I've got to sort of fix that before releasing anyway. So but yeah, there we go. So that's that, and then into this character edit. So you probably see from the within here, I've got plenty of characters, 3 in my character set if I need to, and obviously that's the level 2 which I just showed you earlier. But yeah, it's all good. It's lots of things I can probably put in if I wanted to still, but like I say, there's a few little things I'm going to change, but yeah, there we are. So a little on the charpad change. So yeah, happy enough with it, I think, for now. But like I say, Christmas Caper 2 will be a completely different type of game. Christmas Caper 2 won't be a collect them up or clear them up type game at all. I think it's probably going to be ending up and early days, but I think the idea I've had for the next game in this little series will probably be the Christmas Caper 2 will probably, when it comes to it, it'll probably be more of a run and gun type game, which will be quite interesting. So it'll be slightly different to have a Christmassy run and gun type game, but that's the plan anyway. So but yeah, that's for the future. So anyway, Christmas Caper release 4 out soonish, I hope. Yeah, it's just a case of if it makes it by Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, great. If not, never mind. It'll be at some point over Christmas. But that's just what's been going on, folks, anyway. How long have I been waffling on for? Oh, God, too long. I've just looked down at the timer. So, yeah, that's just a little bit of, say, brief what's been going on. So you'll probably get a full preview video at some point as well. And as soon as I release it, I know that somebody will make a long play of it. So look out for that. What I will say is enjoy Christmas. Have a great New Year, whatever you're doing. And I will see you in another video. So yeah, and let's have a look. Hang on, I'll tell you what I will do. If you're new to the channel, I will probably just give you a little back here and yeah. So obviously there's the YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to by all means. Still trying to get to that big 200 mark, I tell you that. I've been floating around 183 for ages. It's like somebody will join, somebody will leave, somebody comes in, somebody leaves. It's like crying out loud. I think it's because I've not posted a video for about, it says 3 months, so apologies, but I have been busy with stuff. So there's my itch page, you go, so you can get on to, there'll be an update obviously on the Christmas as soon as it's released, so that'll be all there for you to have a look at. And then there's my Twitter or X page. Number of followers is going up on this, which is greatly appreciated as well. So up to 140 now, and not been really advertising the channel as much, but yeah, I think a few more people have come along in the last few weeks. So again, entirely grateful. So anyway, if you like the video, anyway, give it a like, give it a subscribe, thumbs up and all that lot, which will all be appreciated. And then, like I say, yeah, so I will see you in the new year with something else. Who knows? I don't know what it will be. It could be more tiki stuff. It could be one of my other little projects that I've been doing on the side. So look out for that. I say enjoy and if you're playing any games, enjoy them. If you've got the time to play some 64 games, maybe Christmas Caper, maybe something else. I might actually go out and buy Pig's Quest because I've not even bought it yet. So Tony Savona might be happy if I go out and buy his game. and Mr. Morissette and yeah, and Aldo and his brother. Yeah, because I've been meaning to buy it for ages, but yeah, so I think that's what I might do this Christmas. I might buy Pig's Quest and have a look at that, because it's, by all accounts, a very, very good game. Yeah, okay, that's enough waffle for me. I will see you next time. All right, take care, everyone. That's it. See you next year. All right, cheers. Bye-bye.